Even with the advances of archaeology in modern days, most buried cities in the world are still largely a mystery. Amazing discoveries require great efforts and, sometimes, an even greater amount of luck. If we had to rely on the journalism of the early 20th century, we would learn that serendipity led to the door of the most famous and fascinating underground city of giants discovered to date, according to an article in the Arizona Gazette on April 5, 1909. The Grand Canyon was home to a civilization that most likely consisted of individuals of cyclopean proportions. If such a civilization ever existed, he has surely left some structure as a testimony of their existence. Home of the Arizona Gazette of April 5, 1909. The article mentions the discovery of a huge underground citadel by an explorer named G.E. Kinkt, who stumbled upon it while out on the Colorado River rafting. It is worth mentioning that Kinkt was an archaeologist with experience and had financial support from the Smithsonian Institute. This cliff is said to be the entrance of the cave that leads to the mysterious underground citadel. The entrance to the city was at the end of a tunnel that ran underground for almost 700 meters. First, point out that the cave is almost inaccessible, Kinkt wrote. The entrance is 50 meters below the steep canyon wall. It is located on government land and no visitors will be allowed to be there under penalty of transgression. Above a ledge that hides it from view from the river, the mouth of the cave. When I saw the chisel marks on the wall inside the entrance, I was interested, secured my gun and went in. The architecture suggested that the builders of the underground city had advanced engineering skills. The central axis of the city was a giant underground chamber, with passages radiating like the spokes of a wheel. The walls of the main chamber were adorned with swords, copper and coated tablets of hieroglyphic symbols, not very different from those found in Egypt. Another finding that pointed to a link with Egypt were the mummified bodies, by far the most interesting things inside the citadel. Diagram: underground cave, tunnels and rooms show the location of some of the artifacts, as described by G.E. Kinkt. No mummy averaged less than 3 meters high, and all of them were wrapped in dark linen. Kinkt wrote that stood to one and photographed with the aid of a flashlight, but that picture to be found anywhere. Further exploration revealed something about the religion of the giant city dwellers. More than 30 meters from the entrance is the living room with a cross, several hundred meters long, in which I found the idol or image, the god of the inhabitants, sitting cross-legged, with a flower lily or lotus in each hand. The features of the face is that of an Oriental, and so is this cave carvings. The idol almost resembles Buddha, though scientists are not sure as to which religion they represent. Article records the discovery of ceramics and instruments, all with signs of having originated in other parts of the world. Such a mixture of cultures is rarely found in archaeological finds, so this discovery is of unprecedented importance. The last camera that awaited exploration was what Kinkt and his partner, Prof. Saw Jordan, believed was a ceremonial crypt. It is located at the end of a large room, where they had met all the other mummies. There is a passage chamber is ventilated, and as we approached a deadly snake odor impacted us. Our light did not penetrate the gloom, we could not know what is in the camera. Some say that snakes, but others think it may contain a deadly gas or chemicals used by the ancients. The joint underground facility makes one nervous, and the will is the tomb or crypt, where mummies were found, is one of the largest chambers. The walls are slanted back at an angle of about 35 degrees. In this area of the canyon there were indications such as the Cheops Pyramid, the Buddha Cloister, Buddha Temple, Manu Temple and Shiva Temple. Is there any relationship between these places and the alleged Egyptian discoveries or Eastern at the Grand Canyon? A state archaeologist at the Grand Canyon said that the early explorers had Egyptian and Hindu names, but it was true that this area was outside the scope of hikers or other visitors, due to the dangerous caves. In fact, this whole area named in honor of the Egyptians and Hindus in the Grand Canyon is a prohibited area. No one is allowed to enter this large area. Today, this area remains strangely out of reach of hikers and even largely to park staff. The conspiracy theorist, John Rhodes, once said he knew the exact location of the entrance to the city, but was guarded by soldiers carrying rifles 24/7 M16. Another idea floating around the internet says that the underground city now serves as a museum for the occult elite that rules the world.